Today I'm going to do a video on how to color your roots at home. Just share some tips on sectioning and application. As you can see, I have about a ½ inch of regrowth. Where's my gray? I'm about 30–40% gray. But in here, I'm almost about 100% gray. A lot of people go gray first in the temples or in these areas here, but everybody's different. So I'm a little less on this side. So today I'm just gonna record myself doing this, and maybe it'll be helpful to somebody. I would suggest putting on a shirt that you can just unbutton and take off so that you're not pulling anything over your head and getting color on your clothes. You need your gloves. I have my color here. I always prefer brush and bowl. I like to use Goldwell or Wella Demis. A demi-permanent is a translucent color, so it always allows light to show through. So the reason why I like to use that is because everything that's gray will stay lighter and everything that's dark will be colored the dark. And that way your hair, you never get like a crazy demarcation line. You see how it just kind of grows out softly instead of being like this line. It turns your grays into highlights. It'll never go back to white, but it'll turn your grays into these highlights, so the hair ends up looking more natural. But when you use a permanent, it's more opaque and a little bit inky, so it's just too much color and it doesn't look natural. And just from the first day I was ever trained to do hair, my mentor has said to me, expensive hair looks like you didn't have your hair done. And it was the best advice I ever got, and my specialty became natural hair. So in this video I'll show you how to apply the color on your roots. It can be a little awkward and messy and all that jazz. And next time I'll show you how I'm gonna touch up my roots a little bit with some balayage to get me through to my next visit with my friend who can help me do the back and stuff. So I'm gonna mix my color. Make sure you mix it really, really good. Make sure you have some gloves. And for me, I use about 40–45 ml of color and 80 ml of the lotion, because you always use 2-to-1 lotion when you're using a demi. And even if you're buying box color, mixing it in the bowl I find is just a cleaner application, especially when you have highlights and you're not trying to get it all over your highlights and mess up your color in that way. So I'm just gonna get my gloves on. I'm gonna section the hair. Make sure your hair is combed out. I combed my hair out. We're gonna do a part down the middle as best as possible. I have a lot of layers back here, so it's not gonna be perfect. And then you're gonna do a section behind the ear, like that. And you're gonna get some clips and clip it out of the way for now, like that. And you're gonna get to the other side behind the ear. I never get it behind the ear on this one, I don't know why. Like that. And get it out of the way. And I will always start on this, on the side that has the most gray, so that it has the longest time to sit. All right, so we're all mixed up. And I always like to start right in the parts. Let's get these down there. In the front, I like to use a smaller head brush, and then I can move into a bigger head brush. I like a brush that's a little bit stiff, but not too stiff and not too soft. These are Goldwell brushes, they're amazing. And my color is, I like to mix 1/2 6 and 1/2 7 ash because I don't like pulling red at all. And I know people think Ash doesn't cover gray and that demis don't cover gray. But if you put a demi on dry hair, it will cover the gray. There's some people that have such resistant grays that you cannot use a demi. But, you know, and I even have random grays that are resistant, but they blend, so I'm okay with it. So I'm gonna fast forward this a little bit and you can just see my application, but I will definitely start on the grayest side, which is my right side. And we'll go through the whole thing, okay? You want to take at least like small sections, like 1/2 inch sections, and when you're moving into the next section, you want to see the color from the last section poking through, so you know you have enough, that it's really saturated. If it's not saturated, it's not going to do the job. And the other thing is, once we get all the root colored, color needs air to oxidize. You also should be in a decent temperature in your house. Like cold is not good for color either. That's why sometimes in the salon they put bags on your head. So small enough sections that you can see the color pushing through on the other ones, kind of like you're overlapping so that it's super saturated. Try not to be sloppy. The back has always been so difficult for me, no matter how many years I have done this. So now I will pull everything down so that there's air coming through. To get any on my blonde, and then we're gonna go through and do the same on the other side. And then when I'm done, I'm gonna go through it roughly and cross check and make sure especially my really gray areas are covered, because they're a little more stubborn. Okay, I'm gonna do the other side. So I find the back really awkward. If you have one of those mirrors that opens like this, it's really easy to do. But because I can't see, I'm going angled. It gets a little messy, but I do more go by how the cold feels on my head, and then I know where I am and where to paint the next section. But if you can get help, it's even better. My 7-year-old daughter asked me to teach her how to do this. So I'm gonna take some time and show her on one of my mannequin heads. And then the next video, maybe it'll be her doing it for me, which would be so helpful, because my husband, unfortunately, who is the greatest man ever, is useless for me in these departments. I'm sure it's relatable, but maybe I can train him too one day. Who knows? I know lots of husbands that help their wives do this, or their boyfriends and girlfriends and whatnot. So now I'm going more by the feeling, because I can't really see anything. It's so awkward for me. Some people find it super easy. Everybody's different. We're almost done. I have just enough color, so okay, let's pull that in sections so the air gets through it so it can oxidize. And now what I will do is switch back to my smaller brush. I got a little bit of color left. So I'm gonna go in and get cross check and make sure I got all these whites. I also need glasses to see close, so I could be doing a terrible job and not even know it. But it'll get me through. I just have to do my roots. I used to have to do them, well, I'm doing them way more often. I used to do them every couple months, but now that the front is so white, it starts to look like I'm balding a little bit. And I tried to go blonde on my roots and it just wasn't good for my skin tone. It was really like washing me out, so I can't just let it go, which would be so easy. So for now, I color my roots, and I really like having the dark root dimension against the blonde, and it makes the blonde look more blonde when there's like a darker color popping somewhere. So I do like having some roots, but I will be touching up random pieces of my blonde and working on the front piece, which we like to call the money piece. All right. Oh, we were doing so good. Another tip is before you color your hair, you can put some Vaseline or like some of your lotion, and the stain won't be as bad around the hairline. I fortunately have stain remover that I like to use, and it works really well, so I'm okay with a little bit of stains. I'm not trying to hide the fact that I have gray hair and I color my roots. It is what it is. We're aging gracefully. I'm just about to be 50. I'm embracing it. Life is life. We all do what we can do. I hope this was a little bit helpful. I just keep it like this so that, like I said, the air needs to go through. I'm gonna let it sit for 30 to 40 minutes. And that's it. I hope it was helpful for you. If you have any questions, I can answer as much as I can. I have a lot of knowledge in hair. I have worked in the film industry, the music industry, salons. I've owned my own salon. I've worked on magazines, and I've had a great career in it. I've been a professional color technician for over 25 years, and I'm retired, but I decided to start making these little helpful at-home videos because I'm doing it anyways. So I hope it helps you.